we fight? To gain what we cannot take with us? It's in our nature.
Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I think it's 100% sync, not sequence, walkthrough. This is sequence 2, it's a simple plan, and we are being introduced to Eve, who I absolutely adore. I think this character is great. She's got a voice that I don't know, I find it very cute, I don't know why. Don't like Jacob's voice at all, think he's a really, really annoying voice, but I've grown to quite like the character and the writing for him, which is nice and refreshing. But if it was up to me, I would probably play exclusively as this character, because I don't know what it is, there's just something about her that I think is beastly. Which is nice, because I never play girls in games, I'm just not that person. You know, I need the power fantasy, I need to be the big burly dude normally. I need to compensate for my apparent, you know, closet homosexuality, whatever you want to call it. But I just generally don't play the girl. And it's nice and refreshing to have a character here that I actually want to play, so that's awesome. And she's really good. From what I've seen, I really like her cane, even though you can get that as Jacob if you're wanting to do, you know, cane combos and things. But here is a nice little train section, and it works pretty damn well, you know. I think this is a really nice introductory level. When you get up here, you can fight some guys. When their life bar glows yellow, the game tells you to press B to counter, but sometimes they attack at least 5 seconds after the life bar's gone yellow, so for me, I don't know. Like, do you just trust the game to count that input, or do you mash it, you know what I mean? Like, it's... I wish they attacked faster. Like, I wish when it went yellow, then they swung. You know, like on Bayonetta, when it's on hard, they glow and then boom, they're attacking you. But on this game, they literally check the text and then try and attack you. And it's one of the reasons why I think the combat's never felt great. Because everybody just stands around like it's some kind of weird Jackie Chan movie and waits their turn. Even though, you know, some Jackie Chan movies are beast when it comes to the group fights. Others not so much. But right off the bat here, there's going to be a ton of the gang members moving towards where the train just went crazy. We're going to be moving past them in a crouch. This game has a very similar mechanic to Unity, where you press A, you go into a crouched profile, and apparently it's stealth mode. And the way you can tell you're in it is because the characters put their hoods up. Which, I want them to have their hoods up all the time, because that's kind of how I like it, but this is, you know, it's actually a mechanical thing in this game, so you're not going to see too much of that. Additionally, that's going to take some getting used to. Did you see the inputs there? You have to press B instead of A to jump off the viewpoints, and I cannot get used to it. There is way too much muscle memory. It's killing me. But the circle that's around your character is going to tell you where people are through walls. This is the secondary objective. You have to kill 5 people using the barrels, and I'm going to show you a bunch of opportunities to do that. But the circle of power is incredibly powerful, get it? It's going to be white when you're in a neutral position. It's going to show you these wavy, wavelength things that tell you where enemies are to give you an idea of your proximity. And it's going to change colour depending on whether or not they can see you. And of course, in this game, they kind of see you, it starts going yellow. They kind of get curious, it starts going red. If it goes red, it's an alert. I'm going to try my best to not go into alerts unless I absolutely have to, just to make the video a little bit more stealthy to watch, a little bit more interesting than just me fighting people in the generic, you know, Assassin's Creed combat of where you stand there and wait to counter everybody for 50 minutes, which I don't think this game will be, because the combat feels a hell of a lot more fun visually. I haven't quite decided mechanically whether or not it's all that great yet, but it feels satisfying, which is a big improvement over Unity, which had a really great sense of weight, but it was just completely unbalanced. And you could die in one hit on that game. It didn't make sense for an Assassin's Creed. And it forced you to use the potions a lot, and I don't like using healing items, so hopefully in this game, thanks to the health regen, I will never have to use a potion, and I will also not be upgrading my defense, and I will not be upgrading my HP. And unless I come to, you know, a legitimately awkward moment where I'm getting shot and dying immediately, I'm going to try and stick to that. Which brings me to a bit of a critique so far. The loading times are a good minute to get into a mission sometimes, from going from the open world area to the mission, which I think is a little bit long, but it is shorter when you're in the instanced area, it seems. And the checkpoints have been okay up to one section, and that one section went miserable really quickly. And just to give you an idea here, guys, I've done the first 4 sequences. Every single mission but one, I did the first attempt 100% sync without effort. The one that I had trouble with took me 40 minutes to do it because I was trying to do it out of sequence and the game was punishing me. And it was punishing me by the moment I tried to steal a key or steal some information off this dude. If I messed it up and anybody got alerted, it would immediately checkpoint. So when I restarted checkpoint, I would go back and have already been saved into fucking up the level. So I had to restart the level, and I restarted the level about 15 times. And then in the end, I had to follow the very rigid, very strict momentum of the level to get to a specific moment where the game let me do what it wanted me to do, because I tried everything, and none of it worked. And it didn't make any sense, and I'm probably going to make like a silly video of me doing all this other stuff. I was using smoke bombs, I was using the whistle, I was using like hitting them with a bloody carriage and derailing them and stuff. I did everything. It was the coolest thing in the world. These strategies were god tier. And the game's like, no, they saw you, no, he saw you, no, you failed, oh, you failed, checkpoint, checkpoint, checkpoint. Absolutely miserable stuff. But the footage I'm going to show you is going to be the way I think the game wants it doing, and if you try and rush it, you can have a really bad time. So my advice, folks, if you're having a bad time, just kind of go with what the game wants. And for the most, I think they've been really, really fun. The levels, they've come together really well. You know, the character's still kind of sticky on surfaces, and you'll climb something you didn't want to climb at the most inopportune moment. But for everything else, you know, except for that one sequence, really, really having some fun with this game, and happy to be having fun again, because nobody wants Assassin's Creed to succeed more than me, but they don't fucking try. They coin in this thing every year, and all it is like a slight remapping, and I want them to be ambitious, and I'm hoping that this game continues to be ambitious, because so far there's some really cool stuff in it. By the way, you can stab that dude. You don't have to stab anybody, but I like doing it, and there's something that keeps going up, so I'm going to make it go up more. So if you're expecting like no stabs and, you know, the normal type of thing I do on a stealth game, you're just not going to get it, because this is not a normal stealth game. This is a stealth game that is mechanically poor at stealth, that literally makes Hitman Contracts look like it worked perfectly every time. And in its defense, it worked a lot better than 1 and 2, but it didn't work perfectly every time. But that was 2006, so you can let it off. This is 2015. Come on. Oh, Ubisoft, fucking try, dudes. And I'm sat here, aren't I, from my armchair, telling them that they've made issues in this big old grand game. I don't know anything about game design. I wish I did, but I just, you know, I'm a consumer, and I'm somebody who's incredibly passionate, and I'm very quick to tell them to do better when I have no idea what doing better or even getting it to that standard meant. And I understand this contradiction, but at the same time, I'm going to critique it, and it's this thing of, I'm sure if you talk to them on an open, honest, you know, playing field, they would tell you themselves that they wanted it to be better, because it's just like anything else, you know, you rarely get that piece of perfection that you were hoping for, and you do your best to make sure that it works as good as it can. And I see a lot of that in this game, but I also see a lot of rooms for improvement, so we're definitely going to see as we progress. But hop over these. And if you keep up on this balcony, you only have to take out one guy, or sneak past him, or smoke bomb him, and then use the door. I'm going to do an air assassination, because why not? I have no idea how that works, but I'm so glad it does. I'm also curious to see new animations. One of the coolest things about Unity, I felt, was how the animations for moving on the roofs and for running and mantling had all been reworked, and it felt so different but really refreshing. And I don't know if I've just got used to it now, so this one doesn't seem as impressive, but I haven't really noticed too much uniqueness outside of combat. Combat's wonderful. The double assassination there has to be bought. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can save the skill point. He's just a save. He will not respond. You can just get past him. And then there's these two fellas. Here's the detection on the double assassination that just didn't work. If I'd have got any closer as well, it would have probably detected him. But yeah, these moments when it's up close and personal, it feels really satisfying. You might be wondering if I have any advice as far as combat goes. At the moment, I'm alternating between attacking and resetting with the grab, because I think it can stop them from counter-attacking. And I've just purchased the ability to shoot people in like an execution move when you stun them, so I'm definitely going to be getting some mileage out of that, because it seems really fun. But This is a little confusing as well. To swing on something that you jump towards, you have to stop holding A. And this is a game where I've been conditioned for many years to just hold the trigger and A, and it wins the game for you. Not in this game. They've made it so you actually have to do things, which is a great thing. It's just pissing in the face of a whole bunch of old instincts, which can be tricky to turn off. But if you drop down here and you go back under yourself, you can get a really nice shortcut into this room, and we can get into the position to do the air assassination, so we can get the 100% sync. Do not climb the metal that's been electrified. No, it sounds obvious, but you know, you might not have realised that that was what was happening. It will drain your life because you're being electrocuted. And all you have to do here is wait for him to glow, and then do your assassination. And it's going to go to one of those absolutely preposterous moments where you have a massive fucking monologue with the dude you just stabbed, and it turns out he's actually a really nice guy. He just, you know, was in with some bad people, yet you still shivved him. And then we get to run away. This is a great example of mechanics being contradictory, because you're going to see here it says hold the right trigger to slide under the rubble. There was an area later on where I held the right trigger to slide under something on a market stall, and I ran straight into it like a tit and didn't go under it because I had to hold B. So I don't know if that's just on ruin moments where you trip something and it collapses, or if it's just a universal rule, but that does not work sometimes. So if you run into an issue where it just didn't do the right move and you ended up, you know, looking like an idiot, I've been there. But I don't know if it's the game, I don't know if it's just one of those, you know, exceptions, or if it's the rule. I have no idea yet because I haven't played enough. But an interesting little pacing section here of just crawling through this area and crouching under things. Very cinematic, but I'm always curious as to what it adds to the gameplay. And I think in a post-Uncharted world, these moments really have to have you integrated into them for them to be impressive anymore. Because just something that's, you know, all crumbling and looking tense, it's not enough. Uncharted does that shit so well, and it was doing it years ago. So it's funny too, because you've got two completely different mentalities towards platforming. There's your objectives: barrel kills, air assassination, 100% sync. But I'll just finish this thought, guys. This game is too sticky in its platforming. Uncharted at times is not sticky enough. There literally is no happy medium. You know, it's like that golden ratio. It's so hard to find. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next sequence. You take care now.